Welcome to the Lawson and Gift podcast. Make sure to hit that like button, share the videos, and subscribe. We're on to Week 11 Vegas spread picks.
Gift, last week was a hot week for us. We called that Raiders upset. You were literally begging people, pleading with people to bet the Vikings against the Cowboys. I have at least 2 money picks this week that are set in stone. Let's get this money. Hit the like button, subscribe. I want to say thank you to all the fans and subscribers because you're the reason why we're growing, and we're growing exponentially lately.
Let's get into the first game. Pittsburgh +3 at Cleveland.
Gift, we've been liking what Pittsburgh's been doing all year, but don't the Browns have to finally do something this year? And this might be a moral victory for them. I'm going Browns to win in the cover because the Bills are better than the Steelers at this point, and we saw the Browns escape with the victory. Are the Browns going to make mistakes? Certainly, but I'm just wondering how many points is Mason Rudolph able to generate? On a short week, Tomlin doesn't have much time to outcoach Freddie Kitchens. This isn't a full week. This isn't going to be a full game plan. Cleveland just simply has more talent. Talent is what wins this game. Browns win and cover. Pretty damn sure about it.
I got to go Pittsburgh. Cover, and I'm not so sure that Pittsburgh or that the Bills are better than Pittsburgh. And,
stop.
And as far as I would take Tomlin over Freddie Kitchens as far as coaching goes, but in this game, I look at the defense for the Steelers, and I look at how, first of all, they're opportunistic, but they're playing really good right now. They got the pass rush going. They got their secondary playing good. Joe Hayden is playing at a high level even. But with Cleveland, man, I think that they're going to have some issues offensively. This Steeler defense right now is playing at a high level, and Cleveland's offense, we still saw those same deficiencies in the Bills game. They don't know what they want to do. Freddie Kitchens doesn't have a good game plan.
Well, I think I don't know how many points they need to win this game. Are the Steelers going to put up 20 plus?
I don't think they'll put up a ton of points, but I also don't think Cleveland's going to be able to do much. And there was a lot of alarming things in that Bills game. Sure, they walked away with the win, but it wasn't pretty.
It wasn't, but it was the first time they actually won like a close, gritty game.
True, yeah. And with that, we'll go to Dallas, -5.5 at Detroit. We got to see if Matt Stafford.
I saw it's down to -3.5, -2.5 on some spreads. It's hard to pick, but I'm going Dallas wins and covers, even if Matt Stafford does play.
Yeah, I got Dallas to win and cover as well, too. And you're right. Even if Stafford plays, Detroit, all they have really is the passing attack. And I just don't think that's going to be enough against Dallas. And also, too, I take Dallas far more seriously than Detroit.
Same here.
Dallas is a potential playoff team that could win their division. Detroit, mediocre, 7-win team.
They're fodder, Geff.
Yeah. And with that, we'll go to New Orleans, -5.5 at Tampa.
New Orleans wins and covers. They come in, they lay down just an absolute scorched earth policy against the Buccaneers. Buccaneers are going to turn it over, and Giff, it's just going to be too much to beat New Orleans. Let's say Drew Brees and the offense, they play stagnant again because Kamara isn't playing or Kamara isn't running at full speed. It doesn't really matter because Jameis is going to turn it over at least 2 times, and this defense is going to have a feeding frenzy. New Orleans defense wins this. Don't even focus on the offense. Just focus on their defense responding.
Yeah, this is a tough one because we've seen Tampa have the potential to turn it on. We've also seen the bad side where Jameis turns it over. It's hard to equate when that's going to happen. It's never consistent. They had a good game last week. I think Tampa has a good game again this week. They're starting to find the run with Ronald Jones, too, to take a little pressure off of Jameis. And we have seen New Orleans struggle against Tampa before. Also, right now, I'm a little bit worried about the New Orleans offense. I mean, I'm not saying they're not going to get back on track in a week or two, but right now, it doesn't look good offensively, and I think Tampa might be able to score some points.
They certainly have the right team to play against if you're having a stuttering offense. Bring in this Tampa Bay Buccaneers defense. Points are going up, Giff. I disagree.
And with that, we'll move to Atlanta, +6 at Carolina.
Yeah, Giff, I like Atlanta to cover, Carolina to win. I was really sure about that Atlanta to cover last week. It just felt like too many points to me. Same MO here. And it's the same MO. When I start buying into Carolina, they come up short. I'm not bought in on this Carolina thing. I'll let our subscribers and our Carolina fans, and maybe you, because you're wearing like a turquoise short today, I'll let you make that argument. This is upset alert. Even though Atlanta probably doesn't have another one in them, I'm going Carolina to win. I'm just not all that enamored with Carolina, man. There's just like a blood team. Like, I don't even feel like they're that much better than a team like Detroit. You know what I'm saying?
That Green Bay game, I did feel like they were going to win that. They didn't, but Green Bay is also a good football team. Atlanta, we can't say the same, and I'm not sold on one game either with Atlanta. And you got Dan Quinn, who we both think is an inferior head coach. And we know what Ron Rivera does to inferior coaches. He gobbles them up. And Carolina's also at home. I like Carolina to win and cover this. I just don't think that Atlanta keeps this going. I just think that was one game against New Orleans. They caught them by surprise. I don't know if Atlanta is going to be back on track, especially with the offense, too. I mean, is that really going to continue being successful? Can we bank on Matt Ryan not turning it over in games? I'm not at that point with Atlanta, and Freeman's hurt too, so I don't know if they're going to even be able to run the football. And with that, we'll go to the Jags +3 at Indy.
I love the Jags in this game, and I might get bitten. I've liked the Jags a lot this season. And sometimes they've came out and played great football. Sometimes they've came out and looked like one of the worst teams in this league. But you got Miracle Nick Foles back. It's his time to take over. It's his time to push this team into overdrive. And then, like you mentioned, we can talk about the health of Jacoby Brissett all day. That's certainly a deciding factor. But I think T.Y. Hilton might even be more important than that. Yeah. And this Colts team, they've been sliding by all year. And everyone was picking them that they were better than the Texans. I know we stood firm on that. It's coming to fruition, man. I think this starts caving in for the Colts. This becomes a little bit of an avalanche. Jacksonville runs it all day, win and cover.
Yeah, and as much as I have respect for that Indy defense, they're at home. If Brissett and T.Y. Hilton don't play, I can't bet the Colts in this game. They're not going to be able to pull it out with with Hoyer. That's not going to happen. But if Brissett and T.Y. play, I actually do like the Colts in this game, if that happens. And with that, we'll move to Denver +10.5 at Minnesota.
Yeah, Minnesota win and cover. I wish this was down to 7 or 6 so we could stamp it with a money pick. This just seems like one of those games where Minnesota will win. They don't even need to look good, but historically, if you look at this team when they play below average teams, it's normally going to be at least 17, 20 points at home. Minnesota's just going to be too much for Denver to handle. And when you look at Denver, you got to ask yourself, what the hell are they going to do on offense? We know Minnesota's defense hasn't been playing all that great, but I don't see them putting up past 10 points. And I love my points. I love taking 10 points. But for me, this is a money pick. It really is at this point, especially with the way things are transpiring for Denver. Then if you shake in this home field advantage for Minnesota.
I completely agree. What kind of quarterback play, if any, are we going to see from Denver? And this defense for Minnesota, look, we saw Dak have a little bit of fun against them, but I don't think anything like that continues. This game isn't on prime time. Minnesota's also home, and you're right. I don't see Denver doing much offensively. They don't even have enough receiving options. Sutton, that's about it. I don't think it's going to be that hard for Zimmer to shut that down. I have to agree this is a money pick. And with that, we'll go Jets +1.5 at Washington.
Washington wins and covers this, and I'm curious to see which direction you go in this game. I guess the only thing that's holding me back from telling you guys to flirt with this as a money pick is Dwayne Haskins, although I did like some of the elements I saw from Dwayne Haskins against Buffalo. He looked pretty comfortable in the pocket, didn't look scared, so at least that's the first thing me and you watch when we're watching a young quarterback. And then when you look at Washington, you got to say, well, you got Le'Veon Bell and you're the Jets, man, you should be able to run the ball. Absolutely not. Washington runs the ball better. That's what takes them the victory. And the Jets are still a mess. Don't let a win against the Giants change anything.
I completely agree. Nothing's changed with me with the Jets. And, yeah, these are two of the worst teams in football. We know that.
Yeah.
But at the same time, Washington does have a clearer vision than the Jets right now. The Jets offensively have no identity. They can't run the football. It's really just based off of how much that the quarterback, that Darnold, can do. That's really what the Jets' offense is right now, and him having to do almost everything, and that's all they can do to generate offense. Washington, I think they could pound it with Adrian Peterson. Haskins has gotten better with taking care of the football in the past couple weeks, so we got to give him credit for that. And then I think Washington, they got a stout defense even with the injuries in the front seven. I think they'll be able to create some pressure too. So I like Washington in that game as well. And with that, we'll go to Buffalo -5.5 at Miami.
Yeah, sometimes you got to know when to pull out. Me and you, I know you took home Miami to win straight up against the Colts last week. I told people to bet them the last 2 weeks to cover, but sometimes you need to know when to get the hell out. This is one of those examples. I'm shocked this is -5. If I had a little bit more belief in the Bills coaching staff, especially the offensive coordinator, this would be a money pick for the Bills to win and cover. But, man, doesn't this dream for Miami have to end eventually? Fitzpatrick, he's been playing good. The stats haven't been impressive, but the man has been playing great. But I think the Bills secondary can put this thing into line. And then if you tell me Miami runs the ball against the Bills, I give them a shot. But Gift, they're not going to be able to run the ball. Bills win and cover. It might be a struggle. It might be like a 17-7 game, but they do cover. Really sure about it, but I don't want to make this a money pick. Too many people get mad betting the Bills.
Yeah, and I agree with you. You can't go with the Bills because of how the offense looks and because of how the coaching looks. But I do have the Bills to win and cover as well, too. And, it's really just I think the offense is going to do enough. And I think the defense is going to come play really well in this game. I think they're going to be a little chip on their shoulder after the way that game went down with Cleveland. So I think they're going to come with some aggression.
Well, and you just said that you think the Steelers might be better than the Bills. Obviously, the Bills have a lot to prove. Yeah. Because, and it's luckily they get a beat up on teams like Miami and the Jets, but you still have to beat them. And I do wonder what Flores has in store for the Bills. Now that the team has a little bit of confidence, expect him to go balls to the walls, some trick plays. I don't know what the hell is going to happen, but I think he wants this W.
I'll tell you what would fear me if I were Buffalo and what Flores should probably do is try to get creative with the run. And also on sweep plays, too. You mentioned trick plays, reverse plays. The Bills' outside linebacker group, look, Edmonds is good, but Alexander, slow. Matt
Milano, he's always pinching inside.
Yeah, and we've seen the Bills take advantage of with the run. So I think that would be the way to attack them, and I am a little bit afraid of that. And with that, we'll move to Houston +4.5 at Baltimore.
Jeff, I'm digging a trench here. We're to that point, and I don't want to seem biased here. You could put the earmuffs on if you don't want to hear it and wait until the next game. But Houston wins this game. And I don't have a lot of science. I just don't think the Ravens are going to be putting up 30, 35, 42 points on teams that are fighting for playoff positions. Excuse me for not buying into this completely. Are the Ravens a pretty solid team? Yes. Are they peaking at the right time? Certainly. But come on now, Deshaun Watson and this Texans offense have more firepower, and I think the defenses are equal. Deshaun Watson wins this game in the last 2 minutes, win and cover Houston. This gets up to 5 or 6. Please put money on Houston to cover.
Yeah, and I would definitely feel more comfortable if Will Fuller's status was updated, but they did say that within a week or two he could come back. I'd feel even more comfortable with this pick, but I got Houston to win and to cover as well, too. And the firepower on the offense, sure, but it's not that we're hating on Baltimore. I mean, we've been picking them to win certain games, maybe not always cover them. But that run, the way that they win games, Lawson, I just don't think it's going to work in the long run.
Normally, I love it. Run the football, play action, big splash plays over the top. But I think the element that's missing from that is, you talk about running the ball, play action deep, not turning the ball over, controlling time of possession. But you want to know the other thing that's important to that? A very good to good defense. They're an average defense at best.
Well, I do agree. I don't think there's going to be a lot of pressure on Watson. That's another thing in this game. But yeah, I mean, all of their big plays usually, I mean, I know they got the play action too, but the run game has to be almost unstoppable for Baltimore to do what they want to do. And I just don't know if that's going to continue. There's going to be games like maybe this one where they're going to have to sit back and throw it. I don't know if Lamar Jackson's going to be able to do that.
No, well, he wasn't able to do that against Cleveland. I mean, listen, and I'm not trying to hold that Cleveland game against the Ravens, but that is a game that really scared me about the Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
And one of the things I need to say is, I know Baltimore fans are mad at us with what we've been saying about the Ravens, but why don't you guys come in for a call-in show? Next time you comment, leave your email. Let's get this going.
Absolutely. I would love to hear their side of it too, because again, the formula for their winning, I don't see it continuing. And like you said too, like the play action, that's one thing. But I just want to see, because that Arizona game, too, that was a little bit iffy. They struggled in that game a little bit.
And Giff, no doubt they're dangerous. I'm not saying they're dangerous, but has anyone looked at the AFC? That's the reason why everyone's so gung-ho about the Baltimore Ravens, because really at this point, it's a dilapidated Patriots team at the top of the hierarchy. The Chiefs look like they just got knocked out, and they're staggering up against the ropes. And then you got the Ravens looking in second position. Guys, and then you got the Bills behind them. Come on.
Yeah, we got to calm down. This isn't the NFC.
I know.
I agree there.
My goodness.
And with that, we'll go to Arizona plus 14 at the 49ers.
Plus 14. I see it moved down to minus 11. Okay. For me, this is San Fran win and cover. Although San Fran, they should have lost last night.
Oh, no, I mean, I agree.
I'm going Arizona to cover, so.
Yeah, I got Arizona to cover, 49ers to win. The 49ers, to me, I think they definitely get this W, but this is more about Arizona not being completely bad like everyone thought. The offense is somewhat hard to stop. You have to be able to get to Murray. You know, he's shown that he can throw it down the field and be effective. That, to me, is a big part of this. The offense for Arizona. But no doubt the 49ers get this win, though. I think that the offense, they'll rebound. Jimmy G had a bad game.
He did. Giff, I turned it off in overtime with 3 minutes left. 49ers won that, right?
Seattle ended up pulling
Seattle won that? Yeah. How did they lose that game? After Russell threw that interception, they actually lost. The 49ers actually lost that game.
The kicker for the 49ers, the pressure was too much, and he booted it.
This is why I hate having a job, man. I stay up, I get invested in the game. It goes to overtime, still watching in overtime. You think it's over. San Fran gets in good field goal position, and I guess the guy choked. But the guy made other big ones.
He made the big one to get him into overtime. Wasn't able to make that one. Wasn't blocked or anything. And with that, we'll go to the next game. New England minus 3.5 at Philly.
New England wins and covers. But damn, please do not bet this. Please do not bet this message of the week. For me, though, I feel like New England's going to rejuvenate itself after this bye week. But I guess the facet I'm watching for in this game is, do they even have the personnel to rejuvenate? Rejuvenate what?
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, and right now, I mean, I got Philly to cover, New England to win. I think Philly might even win this game because it's about the physicality of where these teams are at. It looks like Philly is starting to get better with that. The O-line looks like it's playing better. They're starting to find a resemblance of a run game. The defensive line for Philly looks hungry. With the Patriots, I just haven't seen that type of play from them. I think that's a big reason why they lost to Baltimore. The physicality just isn't there for them on both sides of the ball.
Well, I don't know if they're going to get pounded like they did against Baltimore. I don't know if that's going to happen. And then here's the thing I don't know about Philadelphia. I don't know if they're going to play consistent 4 quarters. Whether we talk offensively, one thing when I watch Philly is one thing we were complaining about a lot is the lack of run game, but also one thing I'm complaining about is the lack of Zach Ertz or high percentage throws. It feels like everything's getting chucked downfield when they don't really have anyone who can get downfield unless you think Aguilar is a deep threat. This passing game might struggle against New England. But like you said, I think the key to this game is Philly running the rock. If they run the rock, they can certainly win this game. And I'm kind of like a pedestrian in this game. I'm just sitting watching because I want to see what New England's next level is. We're getting mid-November. The snow's coming down. It's windy as fuck. I want to see what New England innovates this week. They certainly had a lot to work on after the Ravens took them to the woodshed last week.
Well, everything you just said I agree with, and that's the recipe for Philly to win is to run the football in this game, and I think they do. But I think you're right. That I'm not going to bet this because I don't want to bet against New England, even though I did pick Philly in this game. But the run game for New England, too. I mean, I would feel more comfortable if that was there. Look, I like Sanu, too. But when's the last time we saw him have a big game? I really don't know if they have enough to get this done.
2012.
Yeah.
And the complicated thing about New England is you're right. We thought this would be the year of Sony Michel busting up the middle for 20, 30 yards, pounding and controlling games, and Tom Brady running it 53% of the time, then hitting people deep on play action. It hasn't came to fruition, but I'm sure the Patriots are working on it because the lack of run game is more scary than anything. I don't care about the targets. I don't care about their defense getting bullied last week by the Ravens offensive line. I really care about them establishing a run game because they need to, because their offensive line can't pass block.
Yeah, and then Damian Harris, too. We were excited for that draft pick. But, yeah, the offensive line, the talent. Maybe this is the year where Belichick just, the talent, not having enough, it just outweighs.
But people have said that before. But then again, there's always been a Gronk to come in. You know, he missed 8, 9, 10 games during the regular season. Wild card round, Gronk's in there. Luckily, though, and here's the thing, another reason why Philly might cover this or even win it. How bad does New England win this game with the Ravens and Chiefs on their back? Those are the teams on their back, for heaven's sakes.
That's true. And also with how easy the schedule is for New England going forward. It's not like they need to win this one either.
Absolutely not.
And with that, we'll go to Cincinnati plus 10.5.
How does this get up to 10, man? And
Cincinnati being this bad, I think.
Yeah, and Giff, and we've been winning money with Oakland all year. Vegas tried to put a stop to that last week. We got him again with Oakland against the Chargers. Oakland wins and covers. Very tempted to make this a money pick, but I just think 10.5 is too disrespectful. Sometimes you got to just tip the fedora and step out of a Vegas trap. This seems like a Vegas trap to me, if there ever was one.
I love Oakland in this game, too.
You're thinking money pick?
Yeah. And
okay.
And how much are we going to get from Ryan Finley at quarterback?
Well, we didn't get a lot last week. We got a few turnovers.
I don't think we're going to see a whole lot. Cincinnati really can't do anything well, and Oakland, they know what they want to do, and they just seem to get better and better with the run game. Derek Carr's looking good. I think Oakland wins.
And if you look at the psychology of this game, man, the Raiders are actually smelling blood, Giff. They are smelling blood. They are smelling a playoff place. And, like, let's say your Bills continue to falter. They could sneak in here. Certainly, maybe a team in the AFC South, like maybe if the Texans don't win it, they sneak in. Maybe the Colts sneak in. But it's starting to look good for the Raiders now, even though their schedule's tough. I think that psychological factor will just allow them to beat the brakes off Cincinnati. Maybe this isn't a trap, but I was hoping this was down like 7.5, 8. But since he's been so bad, you can't really do it.
Yeah, and say what you want about Andy Dalton, but if he plays in this game, like if he were to play, I would.
He'd push it down.
Yeah, it would be 10.5 would be too much. I would just stay away from it. But with Finley in there, I think Oakland takes care of this. And you're right, 9 wins probably in the AFC gets you a wild card. It's very possible Oakland can get to that.
But then again, man, look at who the Bills going to play. Like, you should almost already give the Bills a wild card place, even though, like, you think they might struggle with Miami this week.
Schedules, they could lose.
Man, I've never been one to complain about the schedules, but let's be realistic. The schedules are honestly like a problem this year. They're a problem. Teams have always had weaker schedules, and we understand the formula. We understand how the cookie crumbles. But man, like you look at the Raiders schedule versus the Bills schedule, No, it's like a different league, dude.
And I think the bigger injustice, too, is the Patriots' schedule, considering same as the Bills.
Because it's getting old, man. And, you want to see the Patriots tested. And the first time you really see them tested is against the Ravens last 2 weeks ago. It's not good enough.
And in a year when they're vulnerable, too. They get a cakewalk year. Figures, right? I mean, and you just wonder, if they want him in there. They want Tom and the poster boy.
Well, I know, Geff, but I'm not going to go conspiratorial.
No, but it is very easy. And the Raiders did get fucked this year.
Yeah, they got, Geff, getting fucked is an understatement. They got fucked, then they got taken back and trained. That's what happened to them with the London game, with not having a game at home for like a month and a week. It was ridiculous.
That is ridiculous. Like you said, like 5-6 games go by and you don't get a home game. That's a bit much.
Cruden's like, we haven't been back in California in a month.
And they're on the move too, so pretty soon. And with that, we'll go to Chicago +7 at the Rams.
Man, I gotta love Chicago to cover this, and this goes against my philosophy, but we probably have to talk about the Rams sometime this week. And it's boy genius McVay did Neutron had finally just explode. Is it sensory overload at this point? And we know Goff is bad. You've been saying it for a long time. I do want to give you credit on that. But I do feel like Jared Goff is taking a bit too much blame for this monstrosity that's taking place. It's not Jared Goff's fault that Sean McVay didn't scheme Cooper Kupp open at least once in 4 quarters. It's becoming coaching for me. Chicago fights in this game, but the Mitch Trubisky factor makes me nervous. But Chicago covers, Rams win.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing with me here. And with the Rams, it's just because of the offense right now and the way it's looking. I think they're going to struggle. The Chicago defense, I think they got to rebound at some point, and get to the quarterback. I think they do in this game. But I think Goff does deserve the blame. Maybe not all of it. I think, maybe McVay could do a little bit better. But there's just too many things going wrong offensively for them. We've mentioned it before about the run game not being there. I think that's all a part of this. It's kind of funny, though, too, about Jalen Ramsey walking into almost the same situation. Maybe the Rams get better down the stretch here, but he went from one offense that struggled to another.
Be careful what you wish for. I'm happy this happened to Jalen Ramsey. I'm really, really happy because he's one of the most annoying players in this league now.
Yeah, and if he would have stayed with Jacksonville, and now with Nick Foles coming back, maybe things are going to work out better for them at this point. I think he may have made a bad mistake with that. And we were really mad about that, too, because of how he treated Jacksonville in that situation.
Yeah, man. And, we know Jacksonville doesn't have the biggest fan base in this league. We know it's not like a marquee area for winning. But first, my questions are, is it really that bad a place to live? Is Tom Coughlin really that bad? And why do you have to use them like a used condom? Exactly. I don't understand it.
Yeah, and if Tom Coughlin got mad at me, I'd laugh about it later. I wouldn't care. I wouldn't take it personally. It's funny, too, how NFL players are complaining, too, now, like, it's the business side, and... they
you're
feel
the
hurt,
ones getting paid.
And they feel hurt because it's the business side.
They get sensitive if they get paid. They get sensitive if they don't get paid. Yeah. But yet they use cliches like it's a business, yet they're the ones getting emotional.
Yeah.
Why do you if you understand it's a business, why are you getting so emotional?
That's a good question. They want it both ways, and it doesn't work that way. And with that, we'll wrap it up with the Chiefs -3.5 at the Chargers.
Money, money, money! Money! Set them up, knock them down. Set them up, knock them down. And if I didn't plan to say set them up, knock them down, but when I see Phillip Rivers jogging onto that field, it's just gonna be my feeling on Monday night. Man, the Chiefs need to win this game. Yeah. Gruden, Chucky is breathing down Big Red's neck at this point. You're getting a lot of questions. Are the Chiefs done? How bad is this defense? Well, you want to know what? This defense is good enough to keep the Chargers under 24 points. Yeah. Okay, can we say that? Mahomes goes over 27 points. This is win cover, wait till it gets down to 3. You might want to put this bet in early, though, so you can lock it in at 4. This is one I would advocate buying points on, just so you get it -3. I know you'd give up a little bit of your profit get back, but this is one I love at 3. I think you got to do it all the way, man. And this Chargers team, I know they normally respond in this time of the year, but I think they're done and dusted.
I agree. I completely agree. I think the Chiefs' offense is going to be overwhelming in this game. Even, obviously with Bosa and Ingram coming, that's going to be tough, no doubt. It's not like they don't have talent there, but but your Chiefs, they're against the wall, their backs, and Andy Reid, great play caller. I think they do enough. Too many weapons. And then defensively for the Chiefs, I still like their pass rush. If you're giving me Frank Clark and Chris Jones, depending on, their health, you give me that. I think Rivers has a long day. And I think, we see the struggles from Rivers that we have been seeing.
And everyone wants to talk about, how bad the Chiefs' defense is. Listen, that is true. But the play that changed the microcosm of that game was Williams fumbling, the Titans returning it for 6. Spagnuolo will have this defense competing, and they will get pressure on Phillip Rivers, and they're going to be in a lot of man-to-man. And if Phillip Rivers can beat them deep, then the Chargers could put up 30-35, surprise some people. But if anyone's watched this man throw the last 3.5 years, I don't see that happening. Not a chance. No chance in hell. Subscribe, hit the like button, share the videos, the Lawson and Giff podcast. Comment down below.